Hi guys, so as you can tell from the thumbnail, I'm going to be talking about my weight journey, dealing with self-esteem, confidence issues, validation, rejection and all of that stuff there. I'm sporting a new look. But yeah, I'm gonna try so hard not to cry in this video. I cannot make any promises. I'm just gonna try. If it works, look at God. If it doesn't, look at God anyhow. I made it over. I'm on the other side. I'm really nervous, guys. I'm so nervous. So my journey to get into a place where I'm at now in loving myself, in having this self-confidence, hasn't been easy in the slightest. It's still not easy. I have days where I'm just like, I'm over it. I just want to curl up into a ball, find a ditch and reside in a ditch. It's hard. And it stems all the way back to primary school. I was bullied in primary school and that whole situation was very difficult. Not because of the bullying, and as far as I can remember, it was never physical. I don't know. I can't remember if it got physical at a point, and I've just blocked that out. But yeah. Anyway, it was hard because even though I felt like I did have genuine friends, I made genuine connections with people, I also found that some of the people that I called friends were the same ones that would bully me, but the same ones that made me feel like so small. And like there's so many different scenarios. Oh, I feel my tear ducts. Scenarios. And it's just hard. Like you just want to fit in, like child, adult, wherever. You just want to fit in. You just want to be accepted, and much more so as a child, you want to be accepted, you want to find your group, you want to fit in somewhere, you not necessarily be the cool kid, but you want to be accepted. Do you know what I mean? And it was hard. It was definitely hard because I just wanted to fit in. I just wanted to be a child. That's it. I remember distinctively there was a time where our class was lining up in the hallway because we had assembly, so we're getting ready to go down to assembly, and there was a girl behind me and she was also heavier set, but I don't know, it was just kind of like, so she was behind me and there's some other people behind me that were kind of joining in, and I remember there's this one guy in particular, I won't say his name. He was kind of like egging it on and laughing and laughing and laughing, but then I don't know, I just kind of tried to block it out. I just kind of tried to silence everything. And I remember, I don't know, it's like I had imaginary earmuffs on, so I was hearing what was being said, but it was just kind of muffled. And I remember at one point, I don't know, it was like everything became so clear and I heard everything that was being said, and it just hit me. Like my heart felt heavy. Oh, I can feel like I want to cry, but I'm not going to. I'm going to hold it down. My heart just felt heavy. And I remember the same guy that was egging it on was like, oh, wait, she's actually getting upset. And I remember I was trying to hold it down. I was like, I'm not going to cry, I'm not going to cry, I'm not going to cry. And I remember one thing, I can't even remember, like, right now at this moment what was said, but I remember this one thing was said. And I just started crying in the middle of the line. And I was just like, in my head, I was beating myself up for getting emotional and letting it get to me. Because I was just like, no, Chirango, stop crying. Because if you carry on crying, it's going to draw attention to you. If it draws attention to you, the teachers are going to ask questions. You ain't a snitch. Like, we're not doing that. Like, stop it. So I think from that point, that was when things started. Sorry, I'm trying not to. Oh my gosh. Things. I really was not trying to cry today. Oh no. We're not gonna the makeup. Oh, I was really not trying to cry today. Anyway. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. It slowly started to chip away at me, but you know, you put on a brave face, you keep doing what you need to do, and I think, as a lot of people know, kids have no filters. They will say whatever they want to say, and you know, I think when they're younger, you do correct them, but you kind of turn a blind eye because you're like, oh, okay, you know, they're kids, like they're toddlers and whatever. But kids can be very, very mean. So not only did that, like, the whole bullying thing chip away at my self-esteem, my confidence, it just made me feel rejected, because it just felt like I'm here to be a punching bag. I'm here to be, you know, the laughing stock of the group. So you don't really want me around, like, genuinely. But at the same time, it's warped, because even though part of you recognizes that, there's a part of you that clings onto that because you fit in somewhere. You're part of something. And it was really hard, because the same people that would bully me are the same people that would be in my house, that my parents knew. They were like, oh yeah, this is my daughter's friend. Because I said nothing for years. I don't think I ever said anything about being bullied until I was in college. And I held it in for the longest. So, you know, that carried on, and then, you know, when it came to boys, her whole rejection thing was already there, because they were also the same ones that would bully me. But then you get to the playground games like Kiss Chase, and no one's chasing you down, but they're still inviting you to play. It's like, okay, cool. So the bullying carried on into prior to secondary school, sorry. And I want to say it slowed down once I got to like year 9 or something, but even in my older years, there was still certain people that would make underlying comments, or I know said things about me when I wasn't around, etc, etc, etc. And I remember in secondary school, I just had enough. Like, another time where I was just like, oh, like, it's just a thing where people make comments, and the people that I'm classing as my friends are not actually sticking up for me. So I remember there was a particular time, a friend of mine was going out with this guy. And I can't remember how, but I stumbled upon their messages. I laugh about it now. I'm really laughing to stop myself from crying, guys. I don't think you understand. But anyway, I stumbled across their messages, and he was talking about me, and he was talking crud. Like, he was talking about me every which way, right? And obviously in particular about my weight, and how he didn't want me to be around, etc, etc, etc. Like, I was that fat friend no one wanted to be around, la 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 la. And that in and of itself really, really hurt me. Like, I remember I was at another friend's house reading this, and I was like, okay, even though he's saying that, she's gonna stick up for me. And I kept on reading, and nowhere did she stick up for me. And that hurt me more than anything that he said, because I was like, he's just being stupid. Like, I think at this point I was like year 9, year 10 or something like that. So I'm like, he's just being stupid, whatever, he's just a kid. Oh. But I'm saying that you're my friend, like, you've been to my house. Like, do you know what I mean? But you're not even sticking up for me with your dude. Once it got to secondary school age, I think that's when I was just like, I'm done. I want out. Oh, I haven't spoken about this in years. I want out. I want out of life. I want out. Woo! Child. I'm sorry. Oh. Oh, I don't care about tear marks at this point, whatever. Yes, I do. I went hard on my face. I went out, man. I was out. I went out. I tried multiple times. Woo. Yeah, I went out, man. It was too much. At church as well. I remember being in this, was it 7 to 11's group? And my mum used to dress me up for church. And we were always smart. I can't remember about my brother, but I remember I was always like dressed like super, super smart. I remember there was 2 suits in particular. So there was one that was green, like a neon green highlighter colour, and there was a neon yellow highlighter colour. And she'd make me wear that. So if I don't already stick out for being a bigger girl, let's stick out some more by being a bright green neon highlighter or bright yellow neon highlighter. You know, so that just kind of separates you from people more. And you know, you're trying to fit in because your brother's this cool kid that everyone loves. Oh, you know, your brother Felix. Bane of life. I hated hearing that as a child. I hated it because I just felt like I was always being compared to my brother. It was just difficult to live up to that standard. And you know, when you don't have the confidence anyway, and when you just basically feel like people are low-key telling you to be more like your brother, you're just like, okay, cool, I'm just not my own person. And it just kind of got to a point where I was no longer Chimanga, I was Felix's sister. That was how people addressed me. That's how people knew me. There was no... I felt like there was no attempt to get to know who Chimango was. It was just like, oh, you're Felix's sister. Okay, cool. That's all. That's it. Oh, how's your brother? How am I? Even though... And I think that was a difficult thing. Even now, sometimes, where... I think I got so used to faking it and being like, oh yeah, I'm okay, but literally I feel like I'm dying inside. It's sometimes like, I'm saying I'm okay, but do you see the pain in my eyes? Do you, like, how many people did I say I was okay to? And none of you would have known that I was trying to take my own life. Like, and it was just a struggle. I just wanted out, man. It was, I was tired. I was really tired of faking it till I made it. I just wanted to be okay. And I just wanted the pain to stop. I really just wanted the pain to stop. That's it. I didn't love myself. I hated everything about myself. I hated my eyebrow. I hate my nose. I hated everything. I hated everything about myself. Like, it's ridiculous. I didn't want to live. I didn't want none of that. I was just like, everyone will be better off without me. That is how low I got. I had no self-esteem. I had no confidence. You couldn't validate me for nothing. I just constantly felt rejected. It was a mess. It was a mess. I was in one of the lowest places I've ever been in my life at that point. I was really low. In my head, I was like, if I get rid of me, that will relieve everyone else. Everyone else can continue the way that they really want to continue without me being in their lives. That is honestly how I felt. I was so ready to be out, to the point where I got really mad each time I wasn't successful. I was so mad. So, go through college. Again, still trying to find my identity. Trying to find who I am, but still desperately trying to fit in, trying to find validation, you know. And then you just kind of get to a point where you're the fat funny one, you know what I mean? You just kind of assume this role, you know, ambassador of the friend zone, ambassador of single life. When I was in college, I was just like, okay, this is where, you know, I'm going to find myself, I'm going to reinvent myself, I'm going to love myself, So, you know, I got more involved in church, you know. I was trying to find little things that I liked about myself. You know, I was trying to become confident. I had a group of friends that seemed legit, and for the most part were legit. And you know what I mean? I felt like things were looking up in the world. But then I transitioned to uni. And as much as I was travelling to London anyway, when I moved to uni, I literally felt like I was Chimango back at William Cowper Primary School. And I felt so small. I felt so small. And I was just like, oh, okay. And then as I started meeting people through uni and through my course and stuff, and, you know, met Jazz and all of this stuff, it was just like, yeah, you're the fat funny friend. Like, that's all you ever be. And oh, I went right back to that place where I didn't want to be around no one. I was just like, okay, if I can't validate myself, who can validate me? You know, when your friends do it, you don't really hear it. So I looked to guys to validate me. And it was warped because the validation that they gave me was a desire of me physically, and that was enough for me. And it was so warped because it was like, why would you pay for the cow when you can get the milk for free? And I shattered every standard that I had just so I could feel desired. I felt wanted. I felt needed. And it was like, there was reciprocity in it, in the sense that I was fulfilling a need for them and they were fulfilling a need for me. So for them, it was mainly a sexual thing. And, you know, yeah. And then for me, it was, okay, I feel wanted, I feel appreciated, I feel appreciated sometimes. I feel desired. I feel like I matter. Like, my line was popping. It was doing ping, 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 ping. Because my standards were in the bin. There was no standards. And I was honestly okay with that. Because it was giving me what I couldn't give myself. So, on one hand, I have no standards. Listen, I'm not holding you up to nothing. Yeah? There was none of that. But at the same time, I'm like, no, I'm nobody's side chick. Chimango, you were a glorified side chick. I can tell you that. But because they validated me, I said, okay. I said, okay. And that is the absolute truth of it. I didn't value myself enough to say no. I didn't value myself enough to say I deserve better. For me, it was like, I felt like I was the scum of the earth. Like, it's so crazy. I felt like I was the scum of the earth, so this was as good as it was going to get for me. So then when I ended up getting in a relationship, everything just kind of moved very quickly. I was very much like, okay, Chimango, you can't complain. Like, this is someone that actually wants to claim you as theirs. This is it for you. This is it for you. And even now, having been out of that relationship and saying for 4 years, 4 years and a couple months now, sometimes I'm like, Chimango, did you just mess up? The only guy that would ever want you. For those that know me know I love my makeup, as you can tell. Makeup became my camouflage. It was a thing that said to you I had confidence. It was a thing that, you know, made me seem like I love myself. And, you know, when you just kind of play on this larger than life personality and persona, it becomes second nature. And when I was a bit smaller than I am now, I think I just kind of got to a point where I was just like, I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of seeing certain clothes and being like, oh, I would love to wear that, but because I'm big or because I'm fat, I can't. I was like, I don't care. Like, I don't care. So I started buying clothes that, you know, I really liked. And I was like, yeah, I'm daring to try it. I'm daring to wear it. And then, you know, at the time, I'd feel really confident. And I'd take pictures and then I'd look back at the pictures and be like, wow, you look a mess. So every time, you know, you wear an outfit and then you have your friends or, you know, people like, oh my gosh, you look really nice. Like, as much as you're like, oh, thank you. In the back of your head, you're like, you're lying. I know you're bluffing. I know you are chatting utter poo. Yeah, I think for me, one of the biggest things in where I'm at right now is allowing myself to have those off days, allowing myself to be human, because I think for me sometimes I'm just like, no, 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 you can't go back to that place. You've got to be on 100 all the time, and that's not it. I'm not on 100 every single day. There are some days where I'm just like, I would love to curl into a ball, find a ditch and reside in that ditch forever. There are days where I cry. There are days where everything seems dark, and we're just going to keep it 100% real. There are days where I revert to the thinking of, what if I was out? And the thing about it is, I've been in that headspace for a good minute now. Oh, here we go with the tears. Sorry, guys. Career-wise, family-wise, weight-wise, all of these different things. It just felt like a ton of bricks. And I literally felt like I was suffocating. So when you're trying to deal with all of that and then you're looking in the mirror and you're like, wow, I've actually got heavy. I look like I'm pregnant, but I'm not pregnant. I was just like, I'm out, man. I've given up. Going to church and my relationship with God was routine. It was mundane. It was just like, I have to do it. Like, but yeah, I'm working on it, guys. It's not a quick fix. How I've got my groove back and how I'm at a place where I am now, I think, okay, one, you've got to deal with things. You've got to confront things. I think there's a lot of things even that I haven't touched on in this video that, you know, you have to think about. You have to allow yourself to grieve, so to speak. And I had to do that, and I still have to do that. I had to learn to love the little things about me. And just kind of get to the point where no one else validates me but me. It's nice to receive a compliment here and there, and even then sometimes I can't receive them. But if I don't love me, no one else will love me. Or if they do, I'll find it hard to receive it. I want to love me for me. And even though right now I'm at the heaviest I've been, I've recognised that. I recognise what I now need to do to, you know, pull back to the place where I was losing weight, where, you know, that weight loss added to my confidence. It wasn't the be all end all. Do you know what I mean? I find little things each day to love and dote over. Like, one of the first things for me in kind of getting my groove back was standing in the mirror and just looking at myself. Just looking at myself. Didn't need to say nothing, just looking at myself. And as I constantly start to do that, I started to realise, like, I have beauty spots on all the, like, different parts of my body that I hate it. That I hate. Like, that fucking hate. Like, hate it with a passion. And I was just like, oh, if I have a mark of beauty on the spots and the places that I hate, like, I've been so warped in my thinking to not allow myself to see the beauty in those things. I just try and reinvent myself. So I find the little things that I love that I've neglected. So I just took a razor to my head the other day, and as you can see, I shaved my head. And I feel so liberated in that. I feel so liberated. When it comes to guys, I don't want to chase no one down. I don't want you to be with me because you feel the need to. And I think for me, that was one thing about getting my groove back, is understanding that I don't need a guy. Like, oh my gosh, it's beautiful. I love seeing love. I love seeing all of that stuff. But a relationship doesn't define me. As much as I would love to be in a relationship doesn't define me. God defines me. I define me. And daily, I'm working on redefining myself. I'm working on smiling and genuinely smiling. I'm working on being joyful, getting back to a place where I just loved life. I loved living. I was happy to be alive. I was grateful to be alive. So my dad's like one of my peoples. So let's see if he's got words of encouragement. Dad! Dad!
Yeah?
Come here!
What are you saying?
Can you come here, please?
Huh? Huh?
Come here.
Where? Where?
Here, just for a second. Come, sit down for a second. Say hello.
To who?
Dad, can you just say hello, please?
Hello?
So, I'm doing a video on self-confidence and, you know, all of that good stuff, especially for plus-size people. And you've always been very encouraging.
Okay. Yeah.
Why do you seem scared?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, I just wanted you to give a word of encouragement.
Okay. Yeah. Being big is not a disability. So you just need to be positive and think that, okay, you are not different from another person. So that shouldn't be putting you down. Always be positive. You don't need, if you need to lose weight, however, you don't need to be punishing yourself by engaging in these other, you know, quick fix diet intakes, which probably most of the times they do not help. What helps is to change, and you must be able to celebrate every little change that you make, even if probably in a week you can only lose half a kg. Be able to celebrate that. That's progress. You can build on that one and continue to be positive, continue to make changes. And if you want to shed off the weight, you can do it. It's not impossible. There are other people who have done it before you, so you can as well do it if you want to shed off the weight. But the most important thing is to be positive. Don't think that, okay, because I'm bigger than anyone else, you know, I look different. You are not different. It's not, being big, it's not a disability, you know. Be positive. That's all I can say. So I don't take Chimango as any I look at Chimango as anybody different from another person. And the fact that, okay, probably somebody is looks probably maybe bigger than any other person does not necessarily mean that, okay, their appetite is abnormal than another person, or that they probably eat much food. At times, it's just the genetic makeup that makes a difference. You can be eating the same food, somebody probably will still be able to put on weight, and the other person will not be putting weight. And people always think that, okay, because you are looking big, it means that, okay, you eat too much. That's not really what happens. So this is all I can say about the video that my daughter is making, and I hope this word will encourage somebody somewhere who probably might be feeling a bit down just because they are big, you know. So always be positive.
That's my dad here.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, Dad.
Okay.
Alright. So, you heard it from my dad, guys. There's a reason why I call my dad my bishop. I'm such a daddy's girl, so he can make me cry any day. He was talking about the weather and I'll cry. But, yeah. I think that is the biggest thing in getting your groove back. Having a dope AF support system. Having a support system that is that loves you unconditionally, that supports you, that rides with you, that rocks with you, that holds your hand along the journey, that makes it known to you that you're not in it by yourself. That is what getting your groove back is. Getting your groove back is being unapologetic. Getting your groove back is being who you are called to be. Getting your groove back is standing in your truth. Getting your groove back is being you and you alone. If you like it or not, I don't really care. I don't care. And I think that's where I'm at now. Whether I am a size, whatever the biggest size is, or whether I'm a size 0, if you don't like me, I don't care. God bless you. Move swiftly to the left. I just don't need that. Getting my groove back is getting rid of negative people, negative vibe, negative thoughts. All of that stuff is embracing me, whether I've got a shaved skinhead or whether I'm wearing a wig, whether I bust off these eyelashes now, whether I wipe off the drawing of my eyebrows, whatever it is, getting my groove back, getting your groove back is loving you, is being you, being unapologetic. And that is what I want, and it's something that I'm fighting for daily. I am by no means, shape or form perfect. I'm not the perfect person. I'm not the perfect Christian. I'm flawed. I'm messed up. I'm jacked up. I cry a lot. But it's me. It's me. I'm a work in progress. Like, literally, I'm under construction, basically. So this is just part of my journey. I haven't even gone into as much detail or touched on a lot of things that I would have wanted to touch on, but I'm mindful of time. And yeah, guys, as as I always tell you, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart, be bold, be brave, be beautiful. Don't try and be a carbon copy of anyone else, because you were made to be you. I know it sounds cliche, but there is only one you, and you are the best person at being you. No one else can be you like you. So, hear me when I tell you, be bold, be brave, be unapologetically beautiful. Okay? I love you. Bishop Daddy Kanks loves you guys. And yeah, until next time, family.